And now
Here's Allie.
now to see if my
Hey guys, how
What's
are
up?
you?
now
We're
see if
doing
my
great.
prediction
How are
of
you?
Cordell Stewart being the worst Bears quarterback. Here's Allie.
Oh no. By no means was Brian Greasy ever the worst Bears
No, I said Cordell
quarterback.
Stewart. I said
No.
Cordell Stewart.
No. Oh God, no. You weren't alive. Let me think for a second. Rick Meyer. I'd go with him. I could probably say something about Chad Hutchinson and his backup
Chad
role.
Hutchinson. That's I didn't. I was gonna say Chad Hudson. I'm like, wait, he was a wide receiver, not a quarterback, right? I'm like, no, that's got to be a quarterback.
I got a funny story to share about Bears quarterbacks because my mom grew up a Bears fan, born and raised in Chicago.
Yeah.
She used to razz me for years about my team of choice. And she kept asking me for years, why do you like the 49ers so much? I went upstairs and I drew the number 16 on a piece of paper, and I came back downstairs and I colored it in red. And I said, does this answer your question? And she goes, yeah, that guy, Montana. I said, yeah, that guy. And
Joe Montana. Hubba,
Mr.
hubba, hubba.
Mr.
Yeah.
Montana. Okay. So my mom, when the Bears played the 49ers for the NFC Championship in 84, Mom had the audacity to look me in the eye and said, what if the Bears win today? I said, Mom, they're not even going to score a point today, let alone win. She says, all right, I have a bet for you. Lay it on me. I'll make you a pizza if you're right. You're on. I went upstairs. Why? Because I knew what was going to go on, and I knew I was going to wake everybody else up in the house whenever the 49ers scored. I went down, I came back downstairs, I wrote the score, I handed it to my mom, and I walked away. I said, oh, by the way, 23-0. And my mom was being playful. I love her dearly, and I miss her dearly. She had steam coming out of her ears, but she had the biggest smile on her face. And she came upstairs, she goes, all right, fine, I owe you a pizza. Thanks, Mom.
Did your dear mother ever make you that pizza?
Does Giordano's mean anything to you?
Much.
That's what my mom did. She made me a stuffed pizza in the style of Giordano's, and it took me a month to eat that doggone thing because it was
good
large.
stuff.
So
It's one of those kind of pizzas you make on you sit on the top shelf in your refrigerator. There's no room because there's no room anywhere else in that thing for it. That's what my mom did.
Giordano's is always going to be special to me because the fact that one time I had to take Ryan to a business meeting at Giordano's, and my girlfriend at the time, Toya, was with us. So we get over there. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna be probably about an hour. So y'all go do whatever y'all gonna do." We end up spending most of the time up on South Shore Drive by the Buckingham Fountain, which I will say, if you ever have a special lady in your life, that's where you go.
It's where
it's one place. Absolutely.
That's where I took Jody the last time we were there.
Was it at night?
No, it was not. It was
too bad because you missed the light show, which is one of the most romantic things you can do for your lady. It's you got to go at night.
I would have taken her at night, but we had a 3-hour drive home.
I understand.
We had a 3-hour drive home. All right. To some WNBA preseason thoughts. What you got for us?
Yeah, well, it's sure nice to see the Fever and the Sky standing at 2-0 halfway through the preseason. First of all, that was very nice. I think it's not that surprising, though. I'll tell you one of the things that was somewhat underwhelming but not surprising to me was Paige Becker's debut. You know, number one pick First of all, if you happen to have been living under a rock the last 3 weeks or not paying attention to this segment, but the number one pick, let's say that her debut was respectable. 10 points, 4 rebounds, 23 minutes played. Wasn't poor, but I think we were spoiled when Candace Parker came out with that triple-double or triple-triple. I think I can't remember which it was, but there were some issues. Number one, yes, she's a franchise player, but just like Caitlin Clark last year with the Fever, she can't do it all. Neither did Michael Jordan his first year. As much as he might have wanted to, he's still a rookie. She was still a rookie. She's still learning the floor. She's still learning how to manage a group of pretty unfamiliar names. And I mean, she's not played with most of these women before. She may have played against them, but no, not necessarily. So you got to give her time, just as you give Caitlin Clark time. We also had one casualty last week, and that was Cheyenne Sellers, who was the number 17 pick in the WNBA draft. And she was picked by the Valkyries, our latest and newest franchise. And even though she was she did everything that Coach Natalie Nikhazy had told her. She said Natalie Nikhazy waived Cheyenne Sellers on May 3rd. And Natalie said that she picked up everything we asked her to do, did everything that they asked. It's just that I have to pick the best 12 that are going to fit. Doesn't mean it's the most talented. It's just the best 12. However, the good news for Cheyenne Sellers is that she was picked up pretty quickly, about 2 days later, joining the Atlanta Dream. Good. So, yeah, so at least she's got a team. We'll see how everything goes in the remaining preseason games. She was... she was a surprise for Maryland last year. She averaged 14.4 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 4.1 assists in her final season. So, that's impact, right? Yeah. It's impact. Yeah. And so, but I think the rapidity at which they were, that she was dismissed was a big deal. So I think that was a little bit of a surprise because she had a lot of hype around her. She didn't go as high in the draft as many had predicted. So, but like I said about Paige, give them all time.
Exactly.
Just give them time. Now,
how does Cheyenne fit with Atlanta?
I think that she could fill a very good off the bench role. I think that I don't see her as a starter, first of all. I think that Atlanta, as you know, has a relatively solid core of players who are all getting to know each other. I think that she's going to be great off the bench for them, though. Okay. Yeah, that's just my opinion. So do you have any different ideas?
No, I don't see her being a starter immediately coming in. That may change. That may change over time. But there's one thing about the Atlanta Dream. They are becoming a very deep ball club.
They are, yeah.
The additions that they have. So it's going to be tough for Cheyenne Sellers to compete for some playing time, number one. And number two, some key playing time. Especially when Chicago shows up, when Indiana shows up, New York, Minnesota, when the primetime teams show up. It's going to be tough for her to compete for some minutes and for her to earn some real playing time because of how deep Atlanta is.
She's got to make the most of that time on the court. I mean, that's true of any player, but I think this is going to be a learning curve for her. I think it's going to be a real it'll be a test for her to see what she can do with those minutes. And I think that she will be able to make it. I have some positive vibes about it. And I just think, even after, Atlanta Dream has gone to, they've gone through such a rough transition. They have had so many tough years. It's like, let's hope that they're finally settling down and becoming what they need to be, and they can be a very good franchise. Shall we talk a little bit about Angel Reese? Let's talk about Angel Reese. Okay, the Sky won by 27 points over the Brazilian national team. My sincere hope is that the Brazilian national team, after back-to-back losses, will be able to hold their heads up, because that was sad.
Especially after look at Iowa City on Sunday.
I was about to say, look what Indiana did to them.
Yeah,
that's so bad. Caitlin Clark's last shot was from about 38 feet out, nothing but net, and that just, you said it so many times, Allie, it just has to drop your morale when you see a player of Caitlin Clark's caliber, even though this was an exhibition game, and she does that in a very familiar place, in a very familiar spot on the floor.
Yeah. And I think it was very smart of Stephanie White, though, to sit her out for one of those preseason games. She had some leg stiffness. You don't want Caitlin Clark with leg stiffness through 44 games this year. This is not worth it. In any way, shape, or form, it is not worth it to be out there. And clearly, the USA and the WNBA is vastly superior to the Brazilian national team at this time. But it was a good warm up for the next Olympics. I think it's a few years away. You never know. Back to Angel Reese, though. One of the things that Tyler Marsh and his staff had talked about is wanting to draw Reese away from the basket. Now the strategy behind this is to allow more space for Angel to screen and dive, and also allowing teammates to attack the rim. Now, few people attack the rim like Angel Reese. So there's
true. Yeah, but the thing is, Angel's got to be able to finish at the rim too.
Yes, and she's caught more of her own rebounds than anything else, right? Let's be honest here. Yeah. And it is this year. Tyler Marsh has said that he wants Reese to handle more playmaking and initiate the offense. And much like Asia Wilson does for the Las Vegas Aces. And you have to remember that he's had firsthand observation of the Aces, having been their assistant for the past 2 seasons. So the other thing that was great was that Courtney Vandersloot, it was like she never left the court. It was like she has been she's been the general all along. It was like she never left. 11, 3 and 5, 11 points, and 4 steals, which is something we didn't always see with her, this is something she must have learned out of New York, right? Or at least exercising that a little bit more. So Sloot is phenomenal. 74-69 victory over the Minnesota Lynx. That was great. Also Camilla, my God, Camilla Cardoso, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 1 steal. Let's say that they are all becoming a defensive team.
Which is great, because when they made their appearance in the finals, that was their calling card. Their defense was their calling card, and they're getting back to it, which is huge for them. And it gives them a huge mental boost when they go up against teams like Indiana and New York and Atlanta and others to know we now have a defensive identity. And Allie, you talked about this last year, and I appreciate that you brought this up, and then we'll go to Shane here in a minute. Sure. They needed an identity. That was the one buzzword you kept using all last year, because they had great pieces, but they never have an identity. Now it seems like they have one.
They will. Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, that was the one thing both Allie and I were harping on for a lot of these teams, was trying to find an identity for themselves.
Right.
And now we've got one team that's going to be known as a defensive juggernaut.
That's
huge.
Hope and pray. Thoughts and prayers to go out with
as Pat McAfee would say, T's and P's, everybody.
Yeah.
But I still see one problem with Chicago that will prevent them from competing, and it's something all of us, everybody on the panel talked about. Make your free throws.
Yes.
Make your free throws, because how many games did we see last year where free throws kept them out of the game?
Were missed and horribly missed.
Exactly. And the one strategy other teams have, they're going to foul Angel Reese.
Yeah.
They're going to foul Angel Reese
I do want to
send her to the line.
I do want to bring something, and I wonder if this is like if media is in a sense trying to be a little bit unfair to Angel, only because I have not seen anything about Angel in terms of the games. But what's plastered all over Google was Angel had to leave the Met Gala.
Met Gala.
I'm like, do we care? I want to see what she's going to do on the court.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now the thing about Angel,
I'll speak to this. I can speak to that from a teenage girl's perspective, for lack of a better term. Remember the fashion icon that she is. Angel is building her brand, and she is a role model for little girls throughout the nation and the world. And so there's that part of her that she's developing as much as she is a basketball player. And there's a whole lot of hype around the fact that Angel, let's do a clothing line. I'm still mad at Mattel for their Barbie omission. They need to make a shy Barbie. I don't understand why they're not doing it. They have LeBron as the Ken doll. I mean, where's that going? They could.
As I often say, find the lie? Find the lie.
Can you imagine? I have someday I'll have to bring it. I actually have a Bulls Barbie doll in my possession.
Oh, really?
A friend
That's
of mine
awesome.
gave it to me like 20 years ago, and I still have it. I'll have to bring it. It's in my bedroom. There's no time now, but I just really kind of felt like, if you're going to make Angel into a global brand, you need to have a shy Barbie doll.
Mhm.
And they won't let her use it. It boggles my mind. It was like the years that I spent before Alison became a popular name.
Mhm.
What happened was when I was a little kid, I was one of the few Alisons in my class, and it wasn't until I got to my high school of 5,000 that that I found actually 5 Alisons in my class. I was friends with all of them, and I would write to companies and say, like those little bicycle license plates and things like that. I'd say, please make an Alison license plate, and they would write me back politely. I was like maybe 6 when I started doing that. And I would say, they would write me back and they would say, there's not enough demand for an Alison license plate for this to be even a consideration. Thank you for writing us. And please try another thing. They didn't even send me a gift certificate.
You know what? I get it. I get it because there was I kept writing to the NFL for some strange reason, because at the time that I did this, they had a promotion going that they had they had a kids club. The NFL had a kids club where
I remember that.
You would get a book with all the team logos and the team names in it and all the players and everything, and you get a few extras.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that it cost money at the time, and my dad was really tight-lipped about it. But he had planned a surprise for me when the mail came in one day, and he marched up to my room and he said, "Why did you stop writing the NFL?" I said, "Dad, I don't know. They never got back to me." He puts a box on my desk, and I ripped it open and screamed to the heavens because I was so excited, because Dad actually had ordered the package a couple weeks ahead of time.
Aww.
And I forgot that they always ended each commercial. Anybody who, and I know I'm dating myself, anyone who has ordered something off of television back in the day, you know the rule. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery.
Right.
I forgot that part.
You know what's funny? I did want to ask this question though, Allie. Do you think at some point that will they force Angel to pick a lane? Will one take precedent over the other? Will she have to become more the basketball player than the fashion icon, or can she still manage to juggle both?
I think with Angel being as young and hungry as she is, I think she's going to try and juggle both. I think if one takes precedence over another, if her fashion brand and her style brand and all of her outside activities start affecting her on the court, you better believe Marsha's going to come down real hard on her.
They'll force her to pick a lane.
Yes.
Will force her to pick a lane.
The hammer will come.
The hammer,
pardon me?
indeed.
I couldn't quite hear that.
The
hammer will come for her.
Yeah, and I think that she knows what brung her, and I think that she can handle those priorities relatively well. I think one thing that's going to be important for Angel this year is to develop more of a leadership role with the team, because last year was about kind of individual glory, let's face it. And I think that Tyler's going to make sure that they play a team game.
Yeah.
And much more so in the way that you saw the New York Liberty play last year. And with Sluty really being the general that she always has been on the court, I think that that's where they're going to head. So, and I don't think that Tyler is the kind of coach that wouldn't lay down the law. I do believe that he's the type of coach that if you're not measuring up, he's gonna come after you.
Oh, yeah. And that's key for a young talent, or talents, I should say, like Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. Because remember, we lost Cardoso early in the year.
That's right.
She was gone for the remainder of the year. So they missed a lot fundamentally on the court, rebounding, defensive presence. And it's key that we talked about it earlier with Chicago establishing themselves as a defensive presence. The same can be true about Indiana. Difference is where Chicago attacks you defensively with bigs, Indiana attacks you defensively with speed.
Yes. And that's really key for Chicago. It's key for Indiana's going to be an interesting transition this year. Interestingly enough, Stephanie White told other teams that to lay off Caitlin Clark this year. I'm not sure that was a wise idea.
Because now she just put a bigger target on her back.
Right. Exactly. It's like
the target went from about that big to about that big on Caitlin now, because it's like the principal telling the kids, you don't need to go do this, and the kids are like, go screw yourself. We're going to do this anyway.
Oh yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to try this anyway.
More like when a kid goes and says, they're being bullied, and then the person calls me like, you will stop bullying this kid. Now they just put a bigger target, like, oh, we're really gonna get you because now you're snitching on us now.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
I had that happen because I had so many people bullying me throughout my high school days, and then I grew from 5'7" to 6'1" come sophomore year, and they still thought they could bully me. And my dad gave me a directive: either you hit back or I hit you. So,
I wish I had that. Wish I had your parents, Brian.
Just make sure they play.
Just make sure they swing first.
Dad, yeah, that's the thing. Dad did not want me to initiate contact, but he wanted me to respond to contact.
Yeah.
Don't initiate it, just finish it. Don't initiate it, just finish it.
One day, sophomore year, when nobody expected, I just got tired of this one guy bullying me, and I turned around and looked at him, and I said, you have one more time to bully me, and you will regret it. He tried again, and he went flying down the stairs.
Sounds like me back senior year in high school.
He came flying after me. I did two things. I sidestepped him, and I tripped him. He went flying downstairs. I landed in the principal's office, and I thought, okay, my dad's going to hear about this, and I'm dead. Nope. Principal pulled me into the office, waited for the door to close, and laughed out loud. And he just gave me the simple message, it's about time. I said, I don't want to make this a regular occurrence, because if I do, my dad's going to whoop my ass. And he said, did you start it? No. Did you finish it? Yes. Good. Get going.
Right.
Principal. I wish we had that.
I had something similar where I had guys messing with me, and I usually, because I was in private school, I usually didn't get in trouble for disciplinary reasons. Usually it's like if I was in the office, it was because of something dealing with financials. So the one time I did get caught in a fight, we both got pulled into the office, and I'm sitting there just waiting. The principal comes and grabs the other guy and yanks him into the room, and I just hear this tirade of screaming out there. I'm like, oh, I'm dead. I am so dead. I am far beyond dead. I am a corpse right now.
Oh yeah.
He comes out. He says, "You go to your class.
I'm out of here.
Touchdown."
Yeah, I love it.
That's when you get up and walk out without a wait.
I ran. I'm leaving his mind.
Yeah, no kidding.
Speaking of running, Sue Bird named the managing director for USA Basketball, and Carol Lawson has been named coach of Team USA for the America Cup this summer. When you have two veterans like that of women's basketball,
boy, does that
their minds together, that makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. That is going to be an amazing combination. The thing that I love about Sue Bird is just from her rookie season, she has been just the most amazing player. Look, and so she understands more than probably any other managing director has how to win and how to get gold. And even now, the U.S. has 8 gold medals, right? The women's team has 8 gold medals. I will stress that the women's team has 8 gold medals.
Yep.
Yes. And so it's basically a gold medal or bust, right? Mm-hmm. And you've got to remember that Sue Bird was part of most of those teams, and she knows talent. Mm-hmm. She is going to recruit well. Now, one of the things that is going to be interesting was, you remember last year, or 2 years ago, there was a huge amount of issues regarding not selecting Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
And I don't think that that's going to happen this year, but what's going to happen with people like Paige Beckers? What's going to happen with people? Yeah, that's right. It was last year. It's the thing is that that decision, it was probably the biggest damper over the last gold medal. Mm-hmm. Was it the right decision? I couldn't tell you if that was the right decision or not. I know that it was more. It was more likely that you had so many really good players on their last legs, like Diana Taurasi, like Brittany Griner comes to mind. And even though I don't think that she would say that she's on her last legs by any stretch of the imagination, I may say it before she would ever say it. But the thing is that she is going to be, Sue is going to be very fair about it. I think she's going to look at players like Paige Beckers and say, what can this player do? How can I fit them together to make a real good team? I think that'll be her criterion for how this next cycle works for the 2028 Olympics. And I think it's going to be a real interesting process. Her term is for 4 years, and the thing was that Sue had served on the board of directors, and she's more than prepared for making those hard choices and the decisions that are necessary in order to make it work. The good news is that there's also 3x3 basketball as well that she will be in charge of. And so the team, the members that she can't place on the 5-person team, she can always place on the 3-person team. And so she's got a very wide forum in which to place any player that she chooses to. I think that I wouldn't be too surprised if Carol Lawson, given what happens this summer for the America Cup competition, I do believe that she is going to possibly be the U.S. not just the USA basketball coach, but she's going to be the Olympic coach. I think that's entirely possible. I would put a bet on it. Gino's already won 18 or something. There's no reason to, let's give the younger people the talents, just like the Democratic Party. Let us give the younger people some leeway to forge the next generation of talent in international competition.
And you keep improving the product as the competition improves. You keep the consistency established, and you keep winning. You have all the pieces in place right now.
You do. It's amazing. You can see that in the ratings for the preseason. My God, it's something like 1.2 million or so that have been watching preseason games.
Preseason WNBA basketball.
Yeah,
that's crazy to have 7-figure number tallies coming in for preseason. If they're this excited for the preseason, I can't wait to see what their excitement will be for the regular season when it tips off. And of course, it just has to tip off, and I love that it does, with the Fever and the Sky opening up the spigot. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be a crazy season, and I'm here for it.
It will, believe me. I did want to say that Kara's already picked her assistant coaches. They've got Old Dominion's Delisha Milton Jones and Oklahoma's Jenny Baranczyk. And they are going to be playing against North America, Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. And the tournament is going to run from June 28th through July 6th in Santiago, Chile. So this will be so much fun. And each of the coaches have previous USA basketball coaching experience, and they've all earned multiple gold medals. So it's almost like you expect it.
Yeah.
You expect a gold medal from the United States. So they're, God willing. But here's the deal. You can't assume anything.
You can't.
You got to get ready for every game. No game is a shoo-in. Everybody from Santiago, Chile to Bolivia knows that this is the game. Every game has to be taken one by one, and that's how you build that gold medal.
That's how you build that passion. That's how you build for that gold medal, and that's how you build what's the word we used earlier? That consistency.
Yeah,
you want to make sure stays there. One more note before we get out of here, and I'm glad you brought this. A boost in Kansas City for women's rugby.
Believe it or not, rugby is kind of like women's wrestling. It's a real up and coming sport, and nobody is, I guess, is more surprised. I suppose, but I shouldn't be. Right. But they set a new attendance record in Kansas City. They drew 10,518 fans at CPKC Stadium. And that is the first stadium in the world to be purpose-built for women's sports. I think my next vacation is going to be to Kansas City. So I have friends out there. I really do need to go visit them. So the thing is that the one rising tide lifts all boats, right? The rise of WNBA, the rise of the NCAA, the rise of all women's sports is fueling all of this wonderful and important time in women's sports overall. I cannot wait to see what happens in the future, because right now, everything that I prayed for back, 20, 25 years ago is coming. It's coming alive. Next
with the
up,
WNBA, it's going to be even better. With the NCAA and the WNBA, it's going to be even better when we see Juju Watkins.
Yes,
on the floor in full uniform. Just, man, when Juju Watkins gets drafted, I'm going to have 3 big monitors here in front of me watching every single move and every single game. I cannot wait next year to cover women's basketball in full, because the buzz around Paige Beckers was the same buzz around Caitlin Clark, and it's going to be the same buzz around Juju Watkins. And Allie, you know this as well as anybody. It's going to be crazy.
I will tell you, I had such a great time on Saturday. We had taken Greg's grandson out for his birthday, and we went to this sports restaurant, gastropub thing, and they had a women's basketball game on. Ollie looks up at the screen and he says, "That's Hannah Hidalgo." And I'm going,
the kid knows his stuff.
I'm going, how do you know this? And he goes, and I said, "Ollie, did you know that I go write about women's sports, and I'm on TV doing women's sports?" And he goes, "No." And so and all of a sudden, I became a cool Allie Pops. That's my nickname there, because Greg is Pops, so I'm Allie Pops, and so it was. I loved it, because that's the generation that I'm worried about. That's the one. That's the one that's going to lift all boats. And to have him so already familiar with the game, and with the and being comfortable with the fact that women are as good as men in the sport. He plays on he has a league through his park district, and he's got a pretty good girl defender on his team. He plays with both girls and boys. And I'm saying that's going to be the norm for them. That's going to be the norm for the next generation, and nothing makes me happier than that.
Nothing makes me happier, because when I used to do box scores when I was in school, just like I would see in the Sun Times and in the Tribune. I wouldn't have just boys' names down on the team. I'd have girls' names down there too, and it was just awesome to think about. And then I became a broadcaster, started covering women's sports, and now I'm glad I started doing this.
Yeah.
I am so happy that I started doing this. And Allie, it's great to have people like you aboard with us doing this, especially when the WNBA tips off. Oh my Lord, it's going to be crazy.
I am going to be at Sky Media Day on Monday, and so I will be reporting on that, and maybe get you a little advanced video and stuff like that, and I'll be doing some conversations. Anybody you want me to have conversations with, for sure.
Dealer's choice. Well,
dealers.
I want the coach for sure, but the rest, dealer's choice. Dealer's choice.
Hopefully Angel will respond.
That would be great.
Yeah,
that would be great. We're about to get out of here. Allie, thank you so very, very much for coming on with us as you do every week. It's fun to have you. It's great to have you. Can't wait till next week, and can't wait for the WNBA season to tip off. It's going to be so much fun.
Coming soon. Coming soon. Have a great week, you guys. Love y'all.
Thank you very much. Love you. And to think the Fever and the Sky will kick off the season.
That's going to be a ratings palooza, dude.
Get your popcorn.
I can't wait to put the headset on for that.
Oh, yeah.
Get your popcorn,
I can't wait to put the headset on for that.
Man, get your popcorn and nachos for that one.
Indeed. In fact, there's a pretty lady that would be mad if I did not cover that game. So she already knows I'm going to be doing that game. Have a great weekend. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they are simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope y'all are too. And just like Bicko DeBolin against Tuukka Rask, we'll be back with you on Monday.
Shut up!
What? So long, everybody. What they say?
You really had to go there.
Tattoo this on the foreheads of both Joel Embiid and James Harden. Y'all still bitches.
John Cena, you a bitch too?
See y'all Monday. I won't be here.
LeBron James, you a bigger bitch. Out.